From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICD Primetime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. And it is time for the premier sports betting show. And boy, oh boy, let's go ahead and jump into it. I know I'm starting a little late today, but you know, hey, it is what it is. As long as I'm starting and I got a show for you guys, that's all that matters, right? So let's go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers. The Lakers got a lot of things brewing right now on the Western front. We have ourselves a pretty good motivational speech that we got from the Denver Nuggets today. They think that they're the Lakers' daddy because they went ahead and swept the Lakers. But come on, let's keep it real. How many times have the Lakers swept the Nuggets in a series? Multiple. So, you know, it was good for them to finally get their little moment. But, you know, this was the first time they ever beat the Lakers in a playoff series. So, you know, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But we all know that the Lakers are the second favorite NBA team in Denver. We know that already because it's a West Coast thing. The Lakers literally run the West Coast. So they got the motivation that they needed. I'm motivated as well, too. I hope Rob Pelinka heard all of that. And this can be a part of the revenge tape that the Lakers have intact. Now, let's get down to Laker business. Now, Austin Reeves has already made himself a nice little deal with his own line of shoes that he got with a China company. And that's kind of weird for a country boy like old Austin Reeves to get with a Chinese brand with all the issues that they got going on with China, you know what I mean? Especially people in his area and things like that. And, you know, the big gripe that they have with Chinese businesses and everything. But you know what, man? Get that money, baby. He got himself a good 7-figure deal, probably about $2 million, a part of that deal. And he's going to be able to wear his own signature shoe, even though it looks like a shoe that you would sell over at Big Five Backyard Sale or, you know, Walmart bargain bin, something like that. That's good because you know what? The kids in his little rural town over in Arkansas and all those kids that loved him over at the University of Oklahoma, they'll be the first in line to buy those shoes. So you know what? That's the best way to do it I would say in a very small scale sense, you know, and he's going to make a lot more money dealing with this situation because he will probably get a percentage back off the shoes. But that just means that he's popping off in China right now. A lot of people like what they saw with Austin Reeves. And I think that Austin Reeves has became a priority for the Lakers to re-sign, but they do still hold the rights to him as a restricted free agent. Also, Rue needs to be a priority as well, too. It looks like they have something kind of brewing with him as we speak. I think he is worth the $15 million a year, but you got to figure out a way how you're going to shave that down on your payroll as well, too. So you have that situation going as well. So, you know, there's just a lot of things that are working out in the favor of these Lakers that were added over the last few years. Now, you got LeBron, who's chilling out right now. He probably won't ramp up his off-season training until about possibly mid-July, maybe mid-August. I think that he's going to really take his time and really make sure that that foot heals properly. I know that he's probably going to have a surgery, but he probably already had a surgery and he did not announce it to the public. So, you know, I know that pretty much LeBron is in a rehab summer. So I don't expect anybody to really go off the fact that LeBron James is still going to be the LeBron James of old. You know what I mean? Now he's old LeBron and it's different. So I would say that his effort that he put in last season is going to scale back a little bit this year. That's why you need AD to be as healthy as possible coming into the season, or you need to figure out a way to move AD. But the Lakers, to me, have a very good opportunity to add a former All-Star. You know what I mean? And that all-star can be very key to what the Lakers do next season. And I saw something out there that said that James Harden might be a great candidate to come play for the Lakers. I would say that this is perfect. I think that he's at absolute fit for the Lakers, and he's always been a Laker type, in my opinion. You know what I mean? The guy understands that it's the West Coast, the best coast, and understands that the Lakers are pretty much the Yankees of basketball. So that would be huge for him. They were a big influence on his career over at Artesia High School as well too. He grew up a Lakers fan. So that would be something huge, and it would be, a great homage to his idol Kobe Bryant, who saw the potential in a young James Harden when he invited him to his actual camp that he trained kids at. So with that, I think that bringing in James Harden would make up for not bringing in DeMar DeRozan a few years ago. They chose Russell Westbrook over DeMar DeRozan, and DeRozan would have been a much better pickup for them because DeRozan is a defensive guy, and he's a clutch guy as well too. Now you bring in James Harden and you ask James Harden just to be a facilitator and a guy that can be the third option on the team or possibly the second option with AD as the first option. And then you know what? You get a guy, you get another ball handler, a guy that can actually go ahead and take over a game when need be as well too. I know it might not be the old James Harden, but I know he'll be motivated playing with the Lakers. So I think that he needs to be the top free agent on the Lakers list. I know he's going to cost some dollars and everything like that, or he possibly could give the Lakers a discount since he's already been well paid everywhere else he's been at. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that is the state of the Lakers. What do we do with the 17th pick? I'll let you know a little bit more about that tomorrow. So let's go ahead and talk about our next topic in hand, and that's going to be this. Let's talk about the Pels looking at moving into the top 3 to draft Scoot, who will take the bait of possibly adding Zion. Okay, for me right now, I think that the best bet would be Michael Jordan to go all in and say, you know what, give me Zion. You know what I mean? And you guys got to understand, the kid is from South Carolina. So it would be the perfect fit, in my opinion, to be honest with you. It would be an awesome fit to be very, very, very frank. And I think that a lot of people have to understand that Zion Williamson going home could be the best thing going for him because he don't want to embarrass himself in front of people he grew up with. I know that for sure. He does not want to embarrass himself in front of multiple people that he grew up with in life and knows that, pretty much playing for the hometown team, it would be a very big, big, big situation for the city. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that they can always look at and say to themselves that, you know what, we went and got the Larry Johnson type that we've been waiting for the last 30 years to go with a dynamic guard who's already been an all-star as well too in Melo. And Melo and Zion were two of the most polarizing high school players of the last 20 years. So that would be absolutely amazing. You got to understand, these guys sold out a AAU Vegas camp game. So, and you don't sell those games out because they don't even sell tickets to those. You just pull up to a gym and watch a game. You know what I mean? So they would be one of the better duos in the NBA. What's up, Connor? Glad that you're joining us today and everything. I know I started the show a little bit later than I said I would, but thank you for joining us today. Hopefully you might have some questions that I will answer on air, but thanks for tuning in today. Make sure that you retweet the show on your feed as well too. So the Pels, I'm telling you right now, the Pels have to get rid of Zion. Zion is too much. Zion is never wanted to play for your team. We already talked about this the other day. But I think that the Blazers could be a great fit for Zion as well, too, because he could play with Dame Lillard. But I would really say, you know what, where's the third team at? Because if you're the Blazers, then you say to yourself, nah, let's go ahead and see what we can do to get rid of Dame and make Zion the face of the team. You know what I mean? Because Zion gets to Portland, he can't mess up that much because he's sitting right there in the state of Nike, and he's a Nike athlete, and he is with Phil Knight. So it would be huge for him to be in Oregon as well too. Both the markets that I just mentioned are perfect for Zion. And I think that Scoot's going to either go 2 or 3. From what I'm hearing right now is probably 3rd. And I think that if, New Orleans gets to move back into the draft, into the top 5, then they should make sure that whatever they do, that they're very confident in the play. You know what I mean? Even though their best bet, they could go ahead and get a nice haul, just like they did for AD from Houston, because Houston has a coach that is looking to forward that franchise into the right position. So, that could be something that's very key, and they could possibly get, Michael Porter, not a Michael Porter, but Kevin Porter Jr., or they could get somebody like Sagun or something like that. I know Houston fans would not want to see the day, but dude, you guys had one of the worst records in basketball. At one point, you went 2-32. So, like, literally, how much better will you be getting if you add in a player who's been an all-star and get rid of a guy that has potential to possibly be one down the road? It's a big difference in that. So Houston could start winning basketball games literally overnight with a Zion added with a Jalen Green and with a Jabari Smith Jr. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see how it shakes out. But this will probably be a very unique draft, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of moving parts a part of this draft. So with that, let's move all the way out of the NBA and move on to the most popular sport in the nation, probably the world, and that's going to be the NFL. And I know soccer fans probably are going to be mad at me for saying that, but dude, the MLS, they barely show. The MLS is not high on the food chain in our country. And, they show a lot of Premier League games and things like that, but that's at 3:00 in the morning. Now, ain't nobody got time for that. So pretty much, let's talk about the thing that pushes the needle in America, and that's the NFL. And can Baker Mayfield recharge his career in Tampa, or is he another bust? Well, he's better than Johnny Manziel. We can say that, because Johnny Manziel literally didn't even try to be a great player. He just liked the fact that he was in the NFL. Baker Mayfield, on the other hand, he took his job seriously. And I thought that, he was the first guy in a long time that the Browns had that really enjoyed being the quarterback of this team. And pretty much the Browns kind of went ahead and they listened to the local media, they listened to the mainstream media, and they got rid of him. And I thought that possibly that might have not have been the best choice. Even my late father, who's an adamant Browns fan, he was the equipment manager back in for the last championship back in the 60s. So he was always a big on his Browns, even though he still was out here in LA. Love the Raiders as well too. But he had a certain he always kind of reeled it back in on me about Baker. And he understood quarterbacks very well, probably better than most of the upper executives and things like that. And he even knew that Baker Mayfield was kind of the perfect fit for a wild, crazy, hillbilly type city like Cleveland, Ohio. You know what I mean? And he kind of fit the criteria of what those people truly are in that city. And he even had some of the coolest commercials in football with the progressive situation. So, it seemed like they had themselves a star in Baker Mayfield, but it seemed like he was more of a star for TV than actually on the field. But he was a quarterback that probably had the best run that a quarterback could have that got drafted by the Browns. Why? Because he got to the playoffs, and they were a fun team to watch when they made the playoffs that year as well, too. And they almost made the playoffs the next year as well. They missed out on a few games, and they almost made the playoffs the year before. So Baker Mayfield wasn't that bad of a quarterback for the Browns. It's just that the team was impatient. And he just was a very very volatile situation after a while. And when it came down to how much do we want to pay you, that's where they really had their separation at, because Baker Mayfield wanted a king's ransom and the Browns wanted to give him a regular quarterback salary. And I felt like he wanted to have a bigger salary because he felt like his leadership was something that was very unique to a franchise that did not have a true leader at quarterback for pretty much the whole time they've been back since 1999. So him going to Tampa Bay could be the Baker revenge season because he's playing in a wide open division, and he has one of the better defenses in the NFL backing him up. Now, he doesn't have big talent on the offense other than Mike Evans, but he does have guys that do step it up when they need to step it up. And also, the running back by committee run game could be something that's very valuable. It seems like Baker Mayfield has always ran into a really good running game behind him as well, too. And I think that with the way that he plays the quarterback position, he is the right fit for this Tampa Bay team if they're looking at having a bridge quarterback moving forward. But they could have a guy here that can be helpful for the next quarterback that comes in as well, too. So I would say this is Baker's make or break season, but I think Baker still has a good 5 or 6 years left in him in the NFL because he is the ideal backup quarterback, or he is the ideal starter for when you want to bridge the gap. And he does his job the right way. And that's one thing that you can say about Baker. Only thing that Baker's ever got in trouble about is his mouth in the NFL. But other than that, he's been a Boy Scout. You know what I mean? So pretty much, I think that the Bucs, you can't take them that seriously, but you can't overlook them either at the same time too, because they still got a good coach in Todd Bowles, and they still have a very classy organization as well too that knows how to press the right button. So we'll see how it goes with the Buccaneers. Will they go back to being the Yucks, or will they go ahead and progress into being a team that surprises everybody? We'll see once we get to more evidence of what the season will incur. All right, so pretty much let's go ahead and get to the final topic before we go to our first commercial, and that's going to be, is it trouble in paradise in Buffalo? Will Diggs still be on roster by week 1? From what it's looking like right now, the kumbayas that they're saying is, yeah, he should probably be there. But if I'm Buffalo, I'm looking at every option. I think that we have ourselves a guy that does not want to be here. And you do not want to have people like this in your locker room before you start the season. You don't want to have people in there that are going to come sour the rest of the apples. You just don't want that. And he's seen as one of your leaders, one of your better players, and he's already acting up before we actually get to our actual training camp. This is something that's very, 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 very tough to deal with if you're somebody like McDermott, their coach. You know, because the thing is, you've built this team up to be a contender. They're elite in the NFL now. And you don't need this type of attitude in your locker room moving forward to try to win a Super Bowl. Because these guys that, yeah, you want to win badly. You want to do a lot of things. But at the same time, too, though, it's a process. It's a process. And it's tough. You know, and I know that he looks at it and says, you know, we had the best record supposedly in the AFC pretty much, other than Kansas City, you know, and we were a team that were destined to be in the Super Bowl the last season, but we didn't make it. We fell short because guys just got a little bit too complacent. Guys got a little bit too comfortable. And, oh, yeah, a guy dropped dead on the field of a heart attack. And that literally broke the camel's back in Buffalo. Nobody wants to say that, but that emotional roller coaster that they got put through, their team never really recovered from that. Even though the guy made it out and everything's all good and well, he's back at training camp and everything like that, that type of discouragement can really get to you, because I know when I had to deal with my situation, I didn't want to do anything for 3 months. You know what I mean? And if DeMar Hamlin meant that much to their team, it was going to make a mental effect on the squad moving forward. It was probably supposed to be seen as a motivational tip, but it wasn't, because at the end of the day, they weren't able to finish that game. They weren't able to see exactly how they measure up against the Bengals. And the Bengals played like a team that was pissed off when they played against the Buffalo Bills. Like, look, bro, y'all sat up in here, came to our stadium, your boy passed out, we couldn't finish the game. Now we about to show you what we was going to do to you on that night. So, Buffalo just never got the memo to be in that game, in my opinion. They let Cincinnati absolutely do whatever they wanted to do, because they had this idea that Josh Allen will be able to turn on that magical light and he'll get us to come back win, just like he did just like he almost did against Mahomes the year before. It doesn't work like that. So Diggs can see that, and he feels like he has a quarterback that can't get him to the finish line, just like in Minnesota. And he did the same chirping in Minnesota before he had to leave Minnesota. So I truly do feel like the Buffalo Bills do need to be on the phone with the highest bidder. Now, if they can't get what they truly want, yeah, keep them on the roster. But I think for you to move forward and have a very good season, you might need to let them go now. And I know this sounds really crazy, and I know that a lot of people probably won't agree with that, but I think that is best for everybody for this situation to end. You know what I mean? Because Diggs tried his best, but I think that Diggs has other thoughts on where he truly wants to be. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. I hope for the best for Buffalo. I hope they don't have to shake anything up, that this was just a little hiccup in the process of making a champion. So we'll see how it goes with the Buffalo Bills. But with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break. And when I get back, we will be talking Blue Crew Daily and MLB Thursday Night. And with that, you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. Let's go ahead and jump into Blue Crew Daily. Dodgers bullpen blows another lead in the late innings. When will they acquire relief help? Okay. The Dodgers lose last night 8-4. The Dodgers were up 4-2 at one point in that game as well, too. So, the Dodgers really got to understand that we ain't got no time to be wasting no more. All right. You truly don't want the Arizona Diamondbacks getting confident that they can run away with the West. Okay. Right now they're up 3.5 games. The Dodgers had an opportunity to be within 2 games last night. They lost. And that's because the Dodgers need to figure out exactly where they want to go when it comes down to adding relief help. The Dodgers don't have to worry about runs. They have to worry about middle relief. The Dodgers starting pitching is one of the best groups in baseball other than Noah Syndergaard. Then once they leave the mound, it starts becoming like a carousel of who's going to be good tonight and who's going to be bad tonight. Last night, it was Almonte who gave up the home run that put things, that got things a little crazy last night for the Dodgers, okay? Then they got absolutely shellacked there at the end. So the Dodgers, man, they have to understand that you have to have a guy that's your seventh inning guy, your eighth inning guy, and then you got to have a closer. The Dodgers don't have that situation right now. The Dodgers are playing random. Okay, go get the righty. Oh, go get the lefty. Oh, we're playing a matchup situation. They don't have the pitching for that. Treinen is a guy that was supposed to be the closer. His arm is done, pretty much. Grady All doesn't have his control anymore. And then when he does have it, he's one of the more hittable players in all of baseball. So there's some things that he has to work out. Almonte is a 50-50 every time. He'll either come out there and be really good or really bad. That's been his career, his whole career. Vezina is a guy that really is one that you really be like, I don't know about you. And then Bickford is always a guy that just you got to be ready for him to either pitch really well or him to get bombed out. You know what I mean? So they don't have an official closer. They're alternating between Shelby Miller and Caleb Ferguson. I would prefer Miller a little bit more. I think that he gets it. Evan Phillips has been really good as well, too. But the Dodgers need to lock that position down. So whoever is a closer and is playing for a team that knows they're not going to make the playoffs this year, the Dodgers need to do whatever it takes to bring that guy in. The Reds have a guy now that's on the back end of their rotation who's actually the closer. And I would say this. The Reds are in a rebuild mode, and they're trying to acquire as many assets as possible, and they already looking pretty good with this young group. And I think Baltimore has kind of got everybody in the idea that it's okay to have your farm boys up there because if they're really good, they'll be able to perform. So I think that the Reds could go ahead and fleece the Dodgers for a few really good prospects and, pretty much use that as a way to keep building on to the big red machine, the 2.0. You know what I mean? So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But the Dodgers need to fix this and fix this quickly. Now, tonight, they have Grove on the mound, and he's going against Dylan Cease. And pretty much tonight, the Dodgers are in a rubber game. I told you guys last night that this was going to be a tougher game because the Dodgers were an absolute one-sided favorite last night. And I told you guys, when Clayton Kershaw is like a minus 280 up to 300, the Dodgers usually lose the game. So that actually happened again last night. So today, it's a little bit different. The Dodgers are a minus 150 compared to the White Sox, who are a plus 125. Dylan Cease was one of their better pitchers a few years ago and has pitched well in his last few games. But the Dodgers today, they know what time it is, and they got to step it up. Grove absolutely has been getting crushed lately. He's given up 10 runs in his last 3 games. Also has given up 16 hits, struck out 9 in the process as well, too, going 12 innings. So pretty much this guy is going to have to get him out early or it's going to be a long day for him. So I would say expect this game to possibly go over. Even though we're having a cold, chilly day here in LA, I think that you'll get a lot of base hits in this game. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But that's today's Blue Crew Daily. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our games for tonight, MLB Thursday night. We don't have a full schedule today. We have a few teams off. I think we had about 11 games today. So was it 11? I think it might have been 10. Okay, so pretty much we already had 3 games that have ended already, and those games are they're pretty good games as well too. Pretty much you have two very good. You got a lot of really good things going on with today's games because you got a lot of brand new matchups, and then you got some closeout games. And one of the brand new matchups, what are the back of 4 gamers for the weekend? We got the Rockies and the Braves. The Rockies and the Braves. This is going to be a good one. This is always a fun matchup as well, too, because you always have the Rockies, who are usually not one of the better teams, but they always give the Braves kind of a little bit of a run for their money because, the Braves just don't take bad teams as seriously as they should. They almost got swept by the A's. That's how crazy it's been for the Braves against bad teams this season. It's like they don't play well against bad teams, but they play great against all the good teams. So, they're going to have to fix that, and tonight is no exception. You know what I mean? And I think, though, tonight might be a little different, though, because Colorado has one of their pitchers on the mound that's very shaky in Kyle Freeland. And then, the Braves have one of their better pitchers on the mound tonight. So that works out in a accord to where it could be something that's very good for the Braves because they're not going against one of the better Rockies pitchers, even though he's one of their longest tenured pitchers as is. And I got to look up what happened to Jose Urena as well, too, because I haven't seen Jose Urena pop up in a while. So I'm getting a little scared. You know what I mean? Like, where's Jose Urena? You know what I mean? So, I haven't seen him in a bit. So pretty much, hopefully we can go ahead and he'll be back. But if not, they finally caught on to the Jose Urena ploy of this guy who literally is still getting MLB checks and still throwing 7.00 ERAs every season. But all in all, though, in this game, I'm going to go ahead and take kind of a contrarian bet here and take the Braves to actually go ahead and win this game by 2 or more runs. I know it's kind of risky business, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But I do like the Braves in this spot today, and I think that the Braves are up to having themselves a pretty good game. Now let's move forward to our next game at hand, and this is going to be a NL West matchup, and I know we already talked about it before, but Angels-Rangers, this is a good matchup today. You got Shotani going against Evaldi, and you know what? You have an Angels team that's playing some of their best baseball of the season. Yes, they got beat last night, but they're still in the mix right now. They actually have moved themselves 5.5 games behind the Rangers, and just think if they would have won that game last night, they would have actually been 4 games out. So this team is very, 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 I would say they're not that surprising this year. They're very intriguing this year, to be honest with you. And I truly do feel that, with Shotani on the mound tonight, it should make for a very good spot for the Angels. And I think the Angels literally can go into this game tonight and they will be ready to really, really get themselves situated the right way. So I do like the under in this spot because both these guys are going to pitch tonight. Even though Shotani's been getting hit a little bit, I still think that it's going to be a good pitching matchup because the the Angels know that they're not far behind, and they know that they're actually in a playoff race as well, too, finally, because they're sitting in the 5th hole, and they're only, from what I can see here, they're only a game and a half back because they're in a lock tie with Toronto, and pretty much they're chasing Houston right now, who's in the 2nd wild card spot. So you got to keep on churning. You got to keep on moving. Even though they do have a 4.5 game, they're behind 4.5 games when it comes to the Orioles, who are the top wild card. But we all know that the Orioles are going to have a point in the season where they're going to struggle because they're still a young team on the come up, and they're going to probably need that moment to understand exactly who they truly are. So tonight, I truly do feel that we got to play the under here, and let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out, and that's going to be the Angels and the Rangers for today. Now, let's go ahead and we move on to our next, and this is going to be the Nats and the Astros. This is going to be a pretty good game. We got Mackenzie Gore on the mound tonight for the Nats. Then you got Christian Javier on the mound for the Astros. I think that the Nationals played well enough last night to where we got to take them pretty seriously. I had them on a +1.5 because my man Josiah Gray was pitching last night, and I had to make sure that I was all in that game. And pretty much we got a good late comeback from the Nats that had them make the game a lot closer than what it needed to be. Even their manager kind of went crazy about the game last night, but the Nats have been struggling here. They only have won twice this month, and they've only won once in their last 8 games as well, too. So they have started the month off pretty bad, but they keep these games very close as well, too. So they lose 5-4 yesterday. Last time, and it seems like every time they have a close game, they come back the next day and win the game. So last time they had a close game, which was against Atlanta, they lost the game 6-4. They came back and won the game 6-2. Now they lost 4-5 last night. I got the feeling they're going to come in here and shock everybody. I think that they're going to overplay the Astros tonight, because you look at the line and the line says, oh, this is kind of a good line with the Astros tonight because they're not a -200. Doesn't matter. There's a reason for that, because they feel like the Nats should be in this game. So +155 brings the value to the yard. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. And I'm going to take the Nats as my dog of the day today at +155. When I get back, let's go ahead and jump into Talkin Tickets. You guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Captain.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, what's going on? Nephew, good to see you, have you a part of the show today. Always very supportive of the show and everything like that, up there with your nice prize picks and everything. But let's go ahead. WNBA 6-1 ticket tonight. We got the Dream on the road with the +8. They're playing in Connecticut tonight, so let's see how it goes, see how it shakes out. But the Dream, much improved from last season and the season before, because, after a while, when you keep getting the top picks, eventually you got to become a good team, and that's exactly what's happening with the Dream. So +8 to the Dream, and then we also have the Sky with the -115 tonight at home on the money line, and then we have the Storm and the it's not the Storm and the Aces. It's actually, I think, the Storm and the Sparks tonight. I know I'm tripping, but it is the Storm and the Aces tonight. The Storm are a monster underdog tonight, and usually when you're a monster underdog in the WNBA, that works out a little bit better for you. So pretty much, I will go ahead and take the over 168 tonight. But the 18 is almost a gimme, to be honest with you. So it is what it is at the end of the day. All right, so we move forward. Let's talk some baseball tonight. We got the MLB PrimeTime PK4, which is 15-1 tonight. We got the 1.5 with the Braves -125. We also have the under 8.5 with the Angels and the Rangers tonight. And then we also have the Nats +155 tonight as well, too. And then we also have the over 8.5 Guardians Padres play as well, too. So that's going to be a 15-1 ticket. We see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move from there. All right, so pretty much right now we got some totals to talk about real quick with some games that are going on right now. The Rays and the A's are tied up 3-3. This is going to be crazy if the A's actually wind up winning this series, but they've already, because they won the first 2 games of the series. The Rays won last night. If the A's win this series, it'll show that the old David and Goliath method is still alive in the MLB. All right. So, you have a 3-3 game going, and then the Phillies are up 5-4 right now. Dodger fans should rejoice about that, but they got to hope the Phillies hold on to that lead, because if anybody's really good at winning games in the last inning or so, it's the Arizona Diamondbacks. So we'll see how this one shapes up. We'll see how it shakes out. And there it is. There it is. Another great show, and we will be back tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have Jeff in here, and if I do, we'll be talking AFC East tomorrow, because we got to talk to my man about some Jets, some Pats, some I'm over here draw a blank. Jets, Pats, Bills. We just talked about the Bills, but still we're gonna talk about them again, you know what I mean? And Jets, Pats, Bills, and the Dolphins, and all that good stuff, because I see the AFC East is possibly the toughest division in all of football. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show. I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in. And you guys, you know what? As I always say, you're the absolute best. The people that really do support the movement and really are down with the movement, been rocking with me since 2015. You guys are the absolute best, man. I'm telling you guys right now, you keep me motivated, and we just going to keep building, and we just going to keep winning in this thing. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. This is, as I always say, bet with your head and not with your heart. Also, know your 9Ks. Oh, cool. I guess you got the over in that situation as well, too. Know you got 9Ks. Good for him. All right, so as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And once again, this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. And I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.